Okay, so now let's do the get method. And with this one, we're just going to get a node at a particular index. So if you want to code this, pause it here. Otherwise, we'll start building this out. So I'm going to start with a singly linked list, and we'll walk through this, and then we'll look at the differences. So with a singly linked list, you could have something at the index of 0, 1, 2, 3. But you can't have an index over here. We could say an index less than 0. Or over here, we could say an index that is greater than or equal to the length. And this is going to be the case whether you have a singly linked list or a doubly linked list. You have to say if either of these are true, then we're going to return undefined. Let's bring our list back up here. And we're going to set temp equal to head. We'll do that like this. And I'm going to remove head and tail from the diagram here and just keep temp there. And then if we were going to iterate through the list, we're going to do that with a for loop like this and say temp.next. So let's say we're going to find something at the index of 2. We're going to go 1, 2 times through the for loop, and then we're going to return that item. So let's put this in with the rest of our code. This was the entire method for get for a singly linked list, but we're going to make some changes to this for a doubly linked list. So let's bring this up. Let's turn this into a doubly linked list like that. And let's say we're going to get this 3 node here, the one at the index of 1. We would start at head and we would get to this node. Then we would return that node. But what if we wanted to get this node? The quickest way to get there wouldn't be to start at the head. It would be to start at the tail and go this way. And that's going to be the difference when we use a doubly linked list, is we can use this efficiency. So let's bring back our code here, and we're going to optimize this. So this for loop, we only want to use this if we're in the first half of the list, because this just moves forward by going temp.next. So we're going to wrap this with an if statement that says if the index is less than the length divided by 2, in other words, it's in the first half of the list, then we will use that for loop. Else, we want to create a different for loop that goes the other way. The first thing we have to do is say temp equals this.tail. And that's going to do this and move temp to the other end of our linked list. Then we're going to have a for loop that is just the opposite of the one above. So we're going to start this with I being equal to the index of the last item on the list. And we're going to say while I is greater than index instead of less than. And then we're going to decrement I. And then we're going to go the other way and use the previous arrows instead of the next arrows. All right, so that is all of our code for get. So we'll look at this in a moment, and we will create this linked list, and we're going to run get on the index of 1, which should return the node with the value of 1, and then we'll run it on the index of 2, which will return the node with the value of 2. That way we can see if our method works if our node is in the first half, and then see if it works when our node is in the second half of the list. So let's flip over to DevTools. There is our get method, and this is where we create our linked list that goes 0 through 3. I'm going to run this. Then I'm going to say my doubly linked list.get with a value of 2. And that works. It returns the 2 node. And then let's try this with the value of 1. And it returns the 1 node. And that is our method for get.